Premier tells lawmakers U.S. tariff negotiations ongoing.
Premier Zhu Rongtai says tariff talks with the United States remain focused on 3 goals. Those being securing a better rate, ensuring a fair process under U.S. trade law, and preventing overlapping tariffs. And once an agreement is reached, Zhu told lawmakers the document would be submitted to the Legislative Yuan under the Conclusion of Treaties Act. Zhu clarified that Taiwan has already negotiated a reduction from the base rate plus 32% to the base rate plus a provisional tariff of 20%. But some products, including steel, auto parts, pharmaceuticals, and semiconductors, are excluded from tariffs due to national security reasons under Section 232 of the U.S. Trade Expansion Act, and discussions with Washington on those are continuing. The Premier said a reassessment shows the tariff change reduced projected impacts on exports, production, GDP, and jobs by about half, but the government will still review sectors comprehensively. He told lawmakers that industries most affected by U.S. tariffs are hand tools, machine tools, plumbing hardware, heavy electrical equipment, and plastic products. Agricultural products like moth orchids, edamame soybeans, and mahi-mahi fish are also affected. And the Premier went on to say the government will provide relief through a special resilience budget and will consider overall employment stability, noting that 73 firms and 2,388 workers have already been directly affected by tariffs. Chunghwa Post suspends small parcel services to U.S. due to tariffs.
Chunghwa Post suspends small parcel services to U.S. due to tariffs.
Chunghwa Post has announced that it's suspending the shipment of small parcels to the United States from today due to the expiration of a tariff exemption. The post office said it will stop accepting all express mail service packages, international parcel posts, e-packets, international registered small packages, and international ordinary small packages under its service provisions, and regardless of what the packages contain. The suspension was initiated in response to the U.S. government's announcement that the so-called duty-free de minimis treatment will expire on August 29th. The policy originally exempted customs duties on U.S.-bound mailed items, including goods that were valued at $800 or below. The suspension means mail carriers are required to remit duties to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and only when that happens will packages be cleared for the United States Postal Service for subsequent delivery. Chunghwa Post says customs duties will have to be first collected from senders of the parcels, and it has no way to collect those duties from senders in advance or have carriers help pay the duties first. Coast Guard shadows trespassing Chinese ships off Kinmen.
Coast Guard shadows trespassing Chinese ships off Kinmen.
The Coast Guard administration says it ushered 4 trespassing China Coast Guard vessels out of waters off Kinmen twice on Monday. The Coast Guard says the Chinese vessels were first detected approaching Taiwan-controlled restricted waters southwest of Damashan at 9:30 a.m. They sailed into the area in a single file and were immediately shadowed with radio warnings issued demanding that they leave area. The same 4 Chinese ships re-entered the same area at 3 p.m., prompting the Coast Guard administration to take similar action. Both intrusions lasted 2 hours. Coast Guard officials, the Chinese ships turned off their automatic identification systems both times. Similar intrusions by the same 4 Chinese ships were also reported on Sunday. Government-funded foreign aid agency sends 37 volunteers overseas.
Government-funded foreign aid agency sends 37 volunteers overseas.
A government-funded foreign aid agency has recently sent a group of 37 college students to the nation's diplomatic allies and friendly countries to work in technical and medical missions and other volunteer services. The College Youth Overseas Technical Assistance Service Project is part of an annual internship program. The 37 volunteers from 15 universities and colleges are undergoing 6-month internship programs in countries in Latin America, the Caribbean, the Asia-Pacific, and Africa. 30 of them have been assigned to Taiwan's technical missions in allied countries, 3 in specialized foreign language and multimedia roles, while the remaining 4 will teach Chinese. The annual program was initiated in 2019. It sends university students to work in technical and medical missions abroad, providing them with international experience and contributing to partner countries' development. CAA to spend revamp Penghu airports.
CAA to spend revamp Penghu airports.
The Civil Aviation Administration says it plans to renovate 2 airports in Penghu. The administration says it has budgeted $600 million for renovation work at the airports in Siami and Wangen townships. The move is part of efforts to upgrade facilities and boost tourism to Penghu. Civil Aviation Administration Director General Ho Shupeng says Simei Airport will be redesigned by incorporating the imageries of 5 bays on Simei Island and the Twin Hearts Stone Weir, while the Wangen Airport will be revamped to resemble open arms welcoming tourists. Renovation work at the 2 airports is expected to take 2 years. NIA deports Japanese national over pro-China rhetoric in video.
NIA deports Japanese national over pro-China rhetoric in video.
The National Immigration Agency has deported a Japanese social media influencer for making a TikTok video in which he said that Taiwan belongs to China. The video in question was uploaded to TikTok last Friday by that content creator who called himself Ira Todomi. Todomi and another social media influencer, a 42-year-old man who called himself Hiroyuki Tanaka, displayed Chinese flag at the famous Ximending Rainbow Crosswalk in Taipei and said Taiwan belongs to China. The NIA said the video violated Item 13 of Article 18 of the Immigration Act. That act states that a foreign national can be banned entering Taiwan if he or she is believed to endanger national interests, public security, public order, or the good customs of the state. And while the immigration agency has failed to cite specifically how the video met those thresholds, but it says the comments on the video by the 2 individuals were deemed inappropriate. Taiwan's outlaw doctor, actress Suri Lin, win at Global OTT Awards.
Taiwan's outlaw doctor, actress Suri Lin, win at Global OTT Awards.
And Taiwan crime drama The Outlaw Doctor has won the Best Asian Contents Award at the Global OTT Awards in Busan. It's the first time a Taiwanese production had won the honor since the awards were launched in 2019. Producer Tang Shengrong said he was especially moved when several jurors told him they enjoyed the series, and it showed he was right to set the story against the backdrop of cross-border crime, which resonated with audiences worldwide. Actress Suri Lin was also named Best New Actress at the awards. Lin was recognized for her role in Netflix's Born for the Spotlight, in which she played Shi Ai-ma, an actress discovered by her agent, Miss Chubby, portrayed by Chung Hin-Zin-Ling. Chung presented the award to Lin at the ceremony. Lin shared the title with South Korean actress Chung Sui-bin, honored for the series' friendly rivalry. Global OTT Awards celebrate excellence in TV, OTT, and digital content worldwide. French government in danger of being ousted.
French government in danger of being ousted.
France's minority government looked increasingly likely to be ousted next month. This after three main opposition parties said they would not back a confidence vote, which Prime Minister François Bayrou announced for September 8, over his plans for sweeping budget cuts. The far-right National Rally, the Greens and later the Socialists, on whose vote Bayrou's fate largely lies, said they did not see how they could back him. If he loses the confidence vote in the National Assembly, Bayrou's government will fall. If the government falls, President Emmanuel Macron could name a new prime minister immediately or ask Bayrou to stay on as head of a caretaker government, or he could call a snap election. Macron lost his last prime minister, Michel Barnier, to a no-confidence vote over the budget in late 2024. Typhoon Kajiki latest.
Typhoon Kajiki latest.
Vietnam has evacuated hundreds of thousands and closed schools and airports as Typhoon Kajiki, its strongest storm so far this year, nears landfall. With winds up to 166 kilometers per hour, as of yesterday, the storm is expected to hit Thanh Hoa to Ha Tinh provinces in the afternoon. Kajiki intensified from a tropical depression to a powerful typhoon in under 2 days. That's as fast as last year's Typhoon Yagis, which killed 300 people. Nearly 600,000 residents are being moved from high-risk areas, and 16,500 soldiers are on standby. Taiwan's exports to remain stable in second half of 2025 despite Trump.
Vice Premier confirms ongoing car tariff talks, but gives few details.
In news from and about Taiwan this morning, Vice Premier Cheng Li-chun says U.S. car imports are part of ongoing tariff talks with Washington. Speaking at a legislative hearing, Cheng told lawmakers that Washington has expressed the hope for greater openness and expanded market access for U.S., and technical aspects are being discussed. It's the first time the vice premier has briefed lawmakers on the tariff talks since the U.S. announced that many goods from Taiwan will face a baseline tariff of 20% on July 31st. According to Cheng, tariffs on U.S. car imports and compliance with safety and emission standards were still being negotiated. However, she failed to provide any further details. Cheng did say she has held 3 video conferences with U.S. officials since returning to Taiwan on August 1st, and that Taiwan's negotiating team will try to seek the best position on a tariff planned by the White House on semiconductors. The vice premier went on to tell lawmakers that once a certain level of agreement has been reached, she expects Washington will arrange a concluding meeting on the matter. Taipower could break even this year.
Taipower could break even this year.
Taipower chairman Sang Wen-sheng says the company swung from losses to profits between May and July, and the possibility of it breaking even this year is high. Sang is attributing the improvement mainly to changes in fuel prices and exchange rates, noting Brent crude oil currently has not exceeded $70 per liter, and natural gas is about $12 per million British thermal units. According to Taipower, the the state generator posted a pre-tax loss of 15.5 billion tuan NT in the first half of 2025. And that was a sharp decline from the 60.2 billion NT in losses posted in the same period of last year. The Thai Power chairman says although the government injected 250 billion NT into the company over the past 3 years, this cannot offset the accumulated losses. Seng says the company's accumulated losses of more than 400 billion Nang dollars stemmed from shouldering responsibility so that inflation does not soar. And he's also stressing that the company's finances is related to decisions made by government and the legislature. KMT's Lo Chi-chiang joins race for party chair.
KMT's Lo Chi-chiang joins race for party chair.
KMT lawmaker Luo Chi-chiang has announced his plans to seeking the party's leadership. Luo made the announcement in a Facebook post with a photo of him standing next to a statue of Sun Yat-sen. He represents the 6th electoral district in Taipei that mostly covers Da'an and Wenshun districts. Luo survived a recall vote on July 26 and said in the post that his top priority will be to stop President Lai Ching-te from winning a second 4-year term in 2028. The lawmaker is accusing Lai of abusing power in attacking the opposition, and he went on to call the president the biggest threat to democracy in Taiwan. Luo also said the Facebook post that he will release further details of his campaign to seek the post of KMT chair later today. Taichung Mayor Liu Xiaoyan this past weekend announced that she has no plans to run in the KMT's leadership election, which will take place in October. NDC calls for deeper Taiwan-Japan collaboration on innovation.
NDC calls for deeper Taiwan-Japan collaboration on innovation.
The National Development Council is urging closer Taiwan-Japan collaboration on innovation and supply chain integration to foster mutual growth. A call comes as Council head Paul Liu is heading a delegation of 45 Taiwanese companies to the Japan-Taiwan Innovation Summit that opened in Tokyo. According to Liu, while Taiwan's industries have achieved many world firsts in the past, they need momentum from innovation and entrepreneurship to reach new heights. And to support that, his office been pursuing several strategies for startups, including holding competitions to expand investment opportunities, providing comprehensive training to improve success rates, and helping them enter overseas markets. This year's Japan-Taiwan Innovation Summit is focusing on 4 main themes. Those being corporate venture capital, mergers and acquisitions, deep tech, and international corporate collaboration. The NDC says discussions on corporate venture capital and mergers and acquisitions are expected to strengthen tie between Taiwan and Japan's capital markets, while deep tech and international cooperation could spark new partnerships. UK passenger arrested at Taoyuan Airport with 14 kilograms of marijuana.
UK passenger arrested at Taoyuan Airport with 14 kilograms of marijuana.
A UK national has been arrested for attempting to smuggle 14 kilograms of marijuana into Taiwan through Taoyuan International Airport. According to customs agents, the man arrived on a flight from Bangkok and was asked by customs officers to open his luggage during a random inspection. The passenger refused to open his suitcase and tried to flee the restricted area. He was eventually caught by 3 customs officials and an aviation police bureau officer. A search of his checked luggage found just over 14 kilograms of marijuana buds. The case was handed over to the Ministry of Justice Investigation Bureau for further investigation. The suspect is facing a possible sentence of 10 years to life in prison and a fine of up to $15 million. Taiwan wins first Little League World Series title in 29 years.
Taiwan wins first Little League World Series title in 29 years.
And finally, Taiwan has won its first Little League World Series title in 29 years after Taipei's Dong Yuan Elementary School beat a team from Las Vegas 7-0 in the championship game in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It was Taiwan's first championship in Williamsport since 1996, ending a nearly 3-decade drought. Pitcher Lin Jinzai carried a perfect game into the 5th inning, retiring the first 13 batters he faced. Lin threw 58 pitches over 5 innings, allowing 1 hit and no walks while striking out 4. Lin also drove in 3 runs with a triple during Taiwan's 5-run 5th inning, while reliever Chen Qi-sheng pitched the 6th to seal the shutout. It was Taiwan's 18th Little League World Series title overall, the most of any country outside the United States. Taiwan won 5 straight championships from 1977 to 1981 in the annual tournament, which features half its teams from the U.S. and half from abroad. Premier tells lawmakers U.S. tariff negotiations ongoing.
CEC chair's response to TPP's proposal.
The Central Election Commission has dismissed the TPP's planned proposal to tie referendum voting with general elections. CEC Chair Li Jinyang said the current rules, which were amended in 2019, stipulated that referendums be held once every 2 years on the 4th Saturday of August. Li said the rules decoupled elections and referendums due to the electoral chaos in 2018 when they were held together, which he said harmed democracy. He stressed that since then implementation of referendums has gone smoothly without any major obstacles, so he's not inclined to change them. The result of Saturday's referendum on whether to restart the number 3 nuclear power plant showed that the yes votes were 3 times the no votes, but the yeses still fell short of the required 25% threshold. The TPP blamed it on the low turnout rate of 29.5%, saying when there's no election, people were less motivated to go out and vote.
Student lost near Yunlin Bridge.
One college student is missing after he went with friends to play near a bridge in Yunlin. The 19-year-old of Indian nationality went missing yesterday evening near the Zhanghu Suspension Bridge in the county's Guqing district. He and his friends are students studying at Nanhua University. Firefighters received a call yesterday around 5:30 p.m. about the missing student and dispatched 4 teams to search for him. But at that point, the sun was quickly setting and they resumed the search this morning. Officials warned the public against playing in the water near the area, saying it can be dangerous.
Taiwan hosts Asia for Animals Conference.
President Lai Ching-te says Taiwan aims to be an animal-friendly country as the island hosts the 14th Annual Asia for Animals Conference. Speaking at the opening ceremony in Taipei today, Lai says Taiwan's love of peace also extends to its animal protection efforts for pets, wildlife, and strays, showing care and respect for all life. He points out that the island established a Department of Animal Welfare in 2023 and believes such care and respect is a cornerstone of building a better society. Organizers say the 3-day conference runs through August 28th, drawing over 600 experts from over 30 countries to Taipei. The attendees are set to discuss a wide range of topics, including stray animal management, wildlife conservation, and animal welfare.
Utah legislature will redraw congressional boundaries.
And in the U.S., the battle over state congressional maps is continuing, as the Utah legislature will redraw its congressional maps. After a judge ruled that the Republican-controlled legislature went around safeguard put in place by voters to prevent drawing districts that favor a specific party. The current map divides a Democratic stronghold among 4 congressional districts that have since all elected Republicans by wide margins. The judge who made the ruling declared the map unlawful because lawmakers had weakened and ignored an independent commission established by voters to prevent gerrymandering. The ruling creates uncertainty in what was thought to be a surefire red state, as the Republicans prepare to defend their slim majority in the U.S. House, ahead of next year's midterms. In recent weeks, Texas Republicans have redrawn congressional maps at Donald Trump's behest. And California is letting voters decide on new congressional maps that could make up for those lost seats in Texas. Vice Premier confirms ongoing car tariff talks but gives few details.
Chu urges Taichung mayor to reconsider KMT chairmanship.
KMT Chair Eric Chu is urging Taichung Mayor Liu Xiaoyan to reconsider a run for the chairmanship, after Liu reaffirmed over the weekend that she would not run, saying she needed to be in Taichung at this time to confront issues like the impact of U.S. tariffs on Taichung's industrial sector. Chu announced shortly after Saturday's referendum and recall votes that he would step down from the position and encouraged Liu to run. Today, he again begged Liu to run, saying that she had the people's full support. So far, KMT lawmaker Liu Jiqiang, who represents Taipei's Dan and Wenshan districts, is the most well-known candidate for the position. As new Taipei Mayor Hou Yu-yi also downplayed his interest in the position yesterday. The chairmanship election is set for mid-October, but candidates are required to register by early September.
New camping grounds on farmland in Hualien.
The Hualien County government has recently approved 2 more camping grounds, bringing the total number of legal campsites in the county to 3. Hualien officials say the 2 new camping grounds were approved after the central government relaxed regulations in 2022 to allow the establishment of such facilities on agricultural or forest land. Officials say the application process is complex as operators need to make sure that the development follows soil and water conservation rules, and that they need to offer basic service like showers, restrooms, and electricity. The 2 new sites are Come Here B&B, located in Shofeng.
Taiwan shares.
Asian shares are mostly lower today following a broad decline on Wall Street, reversing some of last week's gains. Taiwan shares are slightly up today, with the benchmark TAIEX closing at 24,305 after gaining 27 points. The turnover was 514 billion NT. Southwest Airlines to require passengers who can't fit in one seat to pay for.
Southwest Airlines to require passengers who can't fit in one seat to pay for.
Another, in the U.S., the average width of plane seats is between 40 and 45 centimeters. And now Southwest Airlines says it will require passengers who can't fit into their seats to book and pay for an extra seat on their planes. That's one of a number of changes the company is making. Their current policy dictates that passengers who can't fit in one seat can pay for an extra one in advance and later get a refund. Experts say that the change is likely to impact all travelers. Southwest's current policy helped to create a more comfortable flying experience for bigger passengers, while ensuring that others also have adequate space. CEC chair's response to TPP's proposal.
Lo Jiqiang on KMT chairmanship goals.
KMT lawmaker Lu Jiqiang says if he becomes the KMT chairman, he aims to recruit Taichung Mayor Lu Xiuyan to run for president within 3 months of next year's local elections. Among his other goals for the position, he also said that he would unite with the TPP in the 2026 local and 2028 presidential elections. Luo announced his bid for the party chair's office yesterday. He said the new chair's #1 mission would be to prevent President Lai Ching-te from getting another term in 2028. To achieve that, Luo said Mayor Lu must be the sole presidential candidate from the opposition camp, noting that the KMT's defeats in 2016, 2020, and 2024 showed they cannot win without rallying behind a single contender. He emphasized that he would step down as chairman after the 2026 elections and support Lu for the KMT chair, so that she can unite the party's resources with her presidential campaign team.
Old homes dominate Taiwan's housing market.
Old homes are increasingly dominating Taiwan's housing market, with properties over 40 years old making up over 30% of all transactions in the first quarter of this year. The average age of homes sold nationwide hit a record 31 years. According to China Trust Real Estate, Taipei recorded the highest share, with almost 56% of transactions involving older homes. OS followed by New Taipei and Tainan, both at over 30%. Analysts cite affordability, prime urban locations, and investment opportunities from urban renewal programs as key drivers behind the trend. However, experts warn that aging infrastructure, water leakage, and earthquake safety are major risks with older homes. Financing can also be difficult, with banks lowering appraisals and offering shorter loan terms. They also point out that not every property is suitable for redevelopment, as resident disagreements often delay projects.
Venice Film Festival.
In entertainment news, Hollywood's biggest stars are heading to Venice, Italy for the 82nd Venice Film Festival. This prestigious international event, second only to Cannes, kicks off on Wednesday and runs through September 6th. Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Emma Stone, and Dwayne Johnson are among the stars expected to attend. Netflix is back in full force with major films in the main competition, including Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Yorgos Lanthimos also returns to the Lido with Bugonia starring Emma Stone. Venice has become a key player in the Oscar race, hosting premieres that often lead to Academy Award nominations and wins. The award winners will be announced on September 6. Chu urges Taichung Mayor to reconsider KMT chairmanship.
Ke Jianming in hot water amidst DPP internal reshuffling.
DPP Legislative Caucus Whip Ke Jianming is fighting off criticism from the pan-Green camp following the failure of the Great Recall movement. Several top DPP legislative leaders have announced their resignation since the second round of recall votes concluded Saturday, including Legislative Caucus Secretary General Wu Siyao. The The chair of the new power party, Wang Wanyu, is calling for K to step down, saying that K's resignation is crucial for the DPP to go forward. She added that the recall movement shows that there is widespread dissatisfaction with the Blue Camp's actions in the legislature. But its failure represents hesitancy to hand the legislature over to the DPP. The NPP chair emphasized that the DPP has lost its ability to have dialogue with the opposition, and to change that, K needs to leave. K, meanwhile, said that outsiders should not interfere in the DPP's internal politics.
CDC reports 9 new cases of melioidosis, with 1 fatality.
The Centers for Disease Control reports 9 new locally transmitted melioidosis cases in the past week, including 1 death. The deceased was a man in his 50s from southern Taiwan with chronic illnesses who developed pneumonia. 8 of the new cases were in the south and 1 in the north, with patients aged 40 to 90. Most already had underlying conditions. This year, Taiwan has recorded 50 melioidosis cases, the 3rd highest on record for this period, as well as 5 deaths. During the same week, health officials also confirmed 6 new local cases of leptospirosis, another bacterial disease spread by contaminated water. One of those patients remains in intensive care. Health officials urge the public to be careful around floodwaters and mud, as these can carry both diseases.
Rescuers in Pakistan evacuate thousands.
Officials say rescuers in eastern Pakistan are evacuating tens of thousands of people after India released water from overflowing dams and rivers into low-lying border regions. India informed Pakistan about possible flooding yesterday, marking the first contact between the two countries in months. Evacuations in Punjab province are still underway, but rescuers have so far evacuated more than 14,000 people from a district in the province, while nearly 90,000 were moved to safer ground from another city. Nationwide, floods triggered by seasonal rains have killed more than 800 people in Pakistan since June 26. Chatbots inconsistent in responding to suicide questions.
Chatbots inconsistent in responding to suicide questions.
A new study has found that popular AI chatbots are inconsistent in responding to questions about suicide. A new research highlights the need for refining the tools, and researchers are raising concerns about people relying on AI for mental health support. Researchers show that chatbots like ChatGPT generally avoid answering risky questions involving suicide. But they are inconsistent when it comes to less extreme prompts that could still be harmful. In cases where the chatbots refuse to answer a question, researchers say they typically told people to seek help from a friend or professional, or to call a hotline. Public health experts emphasize that doctors have a responsibility to intervene when a patient displays or talks about suicidal behavior. But chatbots do not have that responsibility. Experts emphasize the need for regulating AI chatbots, though they acknowledge the nuance involved. Luo Zhiqiang on KMT chairmanship goals.
MOEM launches plan to monitor pollution in industrial zones.
Greenpeace says over 9 million people in Taiwan live within 5 kilometers of petrochemical plants and face high risks of air pollution exposure. Its survey identified 191 facilities across 13 counties and cities, with Kaohsiung, Taoyuan, and Tainan among the most affected areas. The report highlights that children and the elderly are particularly vulnerable, with more than 4,000 schools and care institutions located inside these zones. If the range is expanded to 10 kilometers, an estimated 15.7 million people, about 70% of Taiwan's population, could be exposed. In response, the Ministry of Environment says it has launched a comprehensive survey and reduction plan for industrial zones. Officials say priority will be given to high-emission hotspots, with long-term monitoring networks already in place in major petrochemical areas, alongside efforts to upgrade pollution control equipment.
Survey finds 80% of Taiwanese parents fear children falling behind.
A new survey by the Child Welfare League Foundation shows that 80% of parents in Taiwan worry their children will fall behind academically. The report found that 6 in 10 parents arrange extra classes even before formal lessons begin, with many children enrolled in cram schools or extracurricular courses. Nearly 1/5 of students finish classes after 8 p.m., cutting into sleep. Rising costs are adding to the strain. Almost 99% of parents feel the impact of inflation, and over half spend thousands of NT each month on supplemental lessons. For families with more than one child, the burden is even heavier. The survey also highlights emotional pressures. Nearly 1/3 of parents said that if they could choose again, they wouldn't have children. Parents say what they need most is financial support, better education resources, and workplace flexibility.
Taiwan reaffirms support for Pacific Islands Forum despite exclusion.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has reaffirmed Taiwan's ongoing support for the Pacific Islands Forum. Despite the regional bloc's recent decision to exclude Taiwan and other donor countries, including China and the United States, from this year's annual meeting, Taiwan says it will continue existing cooperation projects with the forum, providing financial assistance to support development across the Pacific Islands. The country also offers the Taiwan ROC Pacific Islands Forum Scholarship, open to all PIF member states. Concerns over Taiwan's participation surfaced last year when reports indicated the Solomon Islands would push for its exclusion, following pressure from Beijing. This comes after the Solomon Islands switched diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing in 2019. Of the forum's 18 members, only 3, the Marshall Islands, Palau, and Tuvalu, currently maintain formal diplomatic relations with Taiwan.